baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you riding and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
All right, welcome to another 55th live stream. It's extremely cool. 2 5s together, and I just can't believe I've done 55 of those, or 54. 55th not done yet. Okay, just went through my notes for today, and I just got back from a guitar fair in Gothenburg this past weekend, and that was a great thing to be at, because it inspired me both to make sure I was right the last week when I claimed in the live stream this whole thing with like, do you deserve your handmade guitar? Or I've seen many more vintage guitars than handmade guitars, but it was great. Anyway, hello from Wantage, Graham, our new regular here. You're so welcome. Patrick, you made it this time. Perfect. I hope you'll be able to attend in the future as well. And David Hunt, my man, so great to see you here, saying hi to everybody else. And wonderful live stream today, David. I enjoyed your playing so much, as I usually do. Always inspiring. Great stuff. No. People are coming. Let me see now. Jonas Linders. Welcome, buddy. My faithful retreater. Abby and Dan. Great to see you guys. Yeah. let me go back to only me like this. So I was on this guitar fair in Gothenburg, which wasn't as big as the previous one they've had, which was arranged by somebody else. Now this guitar shop in Gothenburg. But these guys are specialized in really great vintage stuff, and they just told me that basically they sell more to their customers abroad than here in Sweden. It almost seems like people are not buying so much nowadays around here. And I wouldn't blame them, because those prices, man, I've seen a guitar costed $50,000. Another one was like $20,000. And most of those really nice, well-preserved and well-adjusted guitars from the, let's say, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, they were between $3,000 and $7,000, $8,000. So, okay, I decided I'm not going to buy anything because I just can't afford it. And if I would have something to buy, if I had the money to buy something, I'd definitely invest more in this setup here and in my maybe video productions and stuff that's more important and can, in the long run, bring back some dope instead of me just spending it. And honestly speaking, with all my sanding guitars and my old Silvertone, and I don't know, I really don't need any new guitar to inspire me. But I did understand the whole thing of this. I'll get this very expensive guitar and it will inspire me to, well, just play more. That's how we come to the subject for today, which is, we'll just play more. Anytime people wonder, why am I not getting better? Why am I not coming up with new licks? Why am I not making songs? Me. Why this? Why that? And really, this answer could be, well, just play more. Do more of it. Whatever we do more of, we get better at. Which now you might say, well, okay, Mac, I'm gone. Thank you. Common knowledge, everybody knows that. Nothing to pick up here. Wait. First of all, the expression just, and then after that something else. That came from me being inspired for several years back now by Tom Buck and Heather Ramirez, a man and a wife who, besides having their own channels, Heather's channel called Heather Just Create. I think she has Helen Just Dance, and then Helen Just Play or Game or something like that. It's a channel where she plays video games and explains the things around them and all that. And then Tom and Heather also have a Mighty Network community where I'm a part of. It's called Just Create More. So a lot of things that are happening in the creator world when it comes to YouTube, online presence, teaching, influencing people, helping people. Actually, for me, it's mostly about sharing the knowledge. And then whatever I've learned over the years, I'm really happy to share with the people. Sometimes you get paid for that. Sometimes it's just for the joy of sharing and getting back at this, reaction from people like, wow, oh, that's right. That's how I can do it. So with that out of the way, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Heather. Your online presence and the things you did inspired me to get the theme for today related to guitar playing, practicing, developing more skills, and improving our different, not levels, as I usually say, stages on our musical journey. Welcome, Albert. Great to see you here as well. So let's do the usual blues backup to start with, and then we'll go on with a theme for today. And don't forget, guitar show-off day number 2. Last week I've shown you my main guitar, this one. Sandon, since it's a sunburst guitar, I call it Sandon Sunny. I didn't name all my guitars, but the baritone is called Barry. Yeah. So, let's get to it. Standard tuning, E, slow blues. Let's do it. 2, 3, turn around. Whoops, I've thrown in some new stuff, and that was actually inspired by actually just doing it. Trust me, this is real. This is not just for the sake of today's theme and all that. It really happened because when I was playing my set, actually there were 3 sets on this guitar fair in Gothenburg during the weekend. I was, exposed and I couldn't back off. It means they threw me in this kind of gigging situation where you don't really perform, but you're talking about your event. And actually, I was there to promote my guitar retreat in July, so I wasn't there as an artist. I didn't demo Sunday guitars that I used to do there, because when I was demoing Michael's instruments, I was basically showing off and trying to show all the aspects of the guitars and different models, and I was switching guitars. But this was like, I wasn't really sure what I'm supposed to do. Should I just play a couple of songs and then tell something about the retreat? Because I've never done it before. So I was like, okay, I'll throw myself into it and let's see what happens. So what happened was that I thought, okay, I'll play a bit kind of not flashy stuff, but a little bit more lively songs, like with the tempos, with like and if I play blues, then I wouldn't play slow blues. I would just play shuffly stuff, like basically the same backup as here, but faster. And there are a couple of songs I could play in that manner. But what happened was people were listening and they were so welcoming, and it was such a relaxed atmosphere. They were drinking coffee. It was quiet. It was a room right next to the exhibition hall, so there was not so much people talking around. So those who came in, they were listening. And there was a bar, so you could, buy some beers, and everybody was so considerate. Nobody was shouting like, hey, I'd like a beer or something. They really showed respect to the whatever's happening on the scene, which was like great, right? So I felt like I'm more and more relaxed. And then I just thought, what the hell? I'll play a slow blues. Maybe somebody will think it's boring, but yeah, let's not forget, this was not a blues event. This was not an acoustic event. This was an event where, 85% of the guitars were electric guitars, and those acoustics that were around were not so many, and they were not so well visited when we talk about booths with acoustic guitars. There were a couple of really, really good guitar makers up there. Thomas Fredholm, Swedish guitar maker, he was exhibiting, and there was this guy Bromander, and a couple more younger builders who were really, really good. So yeah, that was good. So anyway, I played that slow blues, and when I was playing it, all of a sudden I just realized that, okay, I'll play a couple of verses and maybe one round of solo, and that's it. And then I just threw in some totally new stuff that I haven't played for years, and just inspired by the moment, by just doing it, and without having anything else to think about and to do, which is very different from when you sit at home and you say, okay, I'm going to play some guitar, and I have like a half an hour, and let's do it. And then you kind of pre-program what you're going to play and how. But at the same time, while you're doing it and playing, you can do several other things, and maybe you don't have your whole brain with you while you're playing, and maybe you're not that inspired by just that specific moment, and you know that, okay, that's right, I'll play here for half an hour, but then I have to go to this meeting, or I have to call this and that guy, or so when you perform and when you try to maybe eliminate all distractions, all of a sudden you will come up with things that are a bit maybe hidden. They're waiting for you. They just needed a good opportunity to come forward and show up for you. So that's what happened for me over there. And then I remembered, okay, I'll try to remember this turnaround lick that actually isn't a turnaround lick. It's just something I wouldn't use in a Chicago blues, but when I play like this, like a loose context, I could throw it in there. So let me show you what I did there. It was like so I came to the B chord, and then went on. So instead of playing the fourth chord, the A, so, which would of course be totally legit to do here. Now I wanted to play the F sharp chord, and then B, and then E. That F sharp chord comes very nicely in those usual kind of jazzy, New Orleansy. David Hunt could play, I guess, 20 of these in a row without breaking a sweat. But it's all these chord progressions that go like from E, let's say, to C sharp 7. Then you got F sharp 7. And then you get the B. And then you go in E, right? And this can be varied, especially on an acoustic guitar where you have lots of nice basses. So I could use basses to D, C sharp, G, F sharp, C, B, and also then back to E. If you remember, I told you about not always needing to play the root note of a chord, which in this case will be like so instead of playing the D, C sharp, I play the A and G sharp, which are the lower fifths from the root note of those chords. Jesus, I sound as if I really knew what I was talking about. I mean, harmony-wise, like, I don't know too much about music theory, guys. Let me just assure you about that. But some things I just learned by imitating piano players and some other great guitar players, especially people from the 20s and 30s. They were still kind of jazz influenced, but they were still playing blues. And I don't know where I got it from, but I remember that Brownie McGee used to do that, like, I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, and so on. That was his way of kind of making this very boomy and rich chord shapes that could give this great backup for both singing and Sonatera's harmonica playing. Because let's not forget, they were only two people on stage, and they needed all the basses they could get, because the mouth harmonica is mid-rangey up to very, high-rangey and peeping sound. Those frequencies are high, and Brown and McGee was the only backup there. So if you listen to them performing, and especially on their recordings where this comes forward much cleaner through loudspeakers or your earphones, you can't really hear that on YouTube. But if you have their records, you can hear how much attention he put into bass runs, whatever he did. Let's say Turnaround that Brown and McGee made famous. Well, in my head, I haven't heard anybody else play it live. Let's see, from those people who I was listening to, and this. So, sorry. And then he could throw this into like a... so on. I mean, Brown and McGee could be a chapter for himself. I could just devote the whole live stream, maybe to his style of playing guitar, which was amazing. So he could use this as a turnaround. So he was like a oh, do 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 do. And then he would just go on. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So where were we? I've showed you that, and the theme for today is actually this word, just. Why just? And how can we translate that word? Since I'm not a native English language speaker. I learned English by singing, talking, listening to other people. I did learn it in school in former Yugoslavia. I had a great English teacher who was really, really picky when it came to speaking correctly, but not, posh. He just wanted us to speak average English, but he wanted us to compose the sentences the natural way. He wanted us to understand the difference between, let's say, English and German language, where the verbs are coming in different parts of the sentences and how that all kind of hangs together. So with all that background and the way, maybe this is very subjective, I'm sure it is, but the word just, if we take this sentence, just play more. Let's say, I want to develop my soloing skills on my acoustic guitar within blues, which is kind of my area. And your teacher says, well, just play more. See, the attention is on more, not just. So in this kind of translation in my head, it sounds like, well, it's only that what you need to do in order to develop. Just play more. The other kind of melody of that sentence could be, just play more. It's like stop overthinking. Don't give it too much attention. Don't kind of try to be too smart. Just do it and play more. And then there's this third kind of melody, which is a little bit like looking down at you. If somebody said, well, just play more, just do it. And that, I've heard some people telling this to younger musicians who were asking them for advice. And it was like almost, oh, don't bother me, just play more, work. But that's not so easy. And very often I get this reaction from people, or let's say it comes together with their question. Okay, what would you suggest me to do if I want to become better? I would never just say, oh, just play more right off the bat. No, I would always try to ask a couple of questions to see what are their circumstances. How are they doing it now? If they're doing it, are you practicing? Are you playing? How are you playing your guitar? When? And for how long? And that's something that can give me a nice picture of the whole thing, of the whole context where this person is coming from. And then I can give some nice advice, right? I just see a lot of things happening here in the chat, so I'd love to say hi to some other people who showed up. Roy Richardson, hi. Yes, David is my constant inspiration. Whatever Tom Buck makes and does for my tech interest and whatever else there is about content creation and stuff, David is the same thing on the musical part, inspiring as a musician, as a human being as well, of course. But oh, look at here, another person that inspires me very much, Raphael Ludwig, industry professional within video media, doctor of Final Cut Pro, wonderful setup in his own studio, and great. Well, thank you, sir. Coming from you, it's really, really highly appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you. Poštovanje to, my Serbian friends are saying hi. Phil Thorne, my wonderful friend from the UK, our participant in the Blues Week and a fine musician in his own right. Great. And yes, you is, sir. You're helping me out, and we're gonna talk about that live stream together that we would like to do. That's going to be with a little accent of on the tech side of everything, but also how it helps us develop more within whatever we want to do online. Great. Ooh, thank you guys. Thank you. This sets the level high. Maybe I will just fake the some tech issues and say thank you guys. I'll see you next week. No, kidding. So let me go back to the script where actually here's the deal. That's maybe why people seek for good teachers when it comes to instrument playing and learning how to play something, because it's easier when someone else decides on what and when to do it and how to practice, and then you have a task and you do it, and then you get another task next week or next month, and then it's done. We do seek freedom in playing music and playing our instruments, but when we're given that freedom, sometimes it's kind of difficult to choose what to do and when to do and how much of that I should be doing. And I'm guilty of that. I mean, because of this ADHD tendencies that I have, I say it again, I'm not diagnosed. It's just that everybody tells me around me, both online and in real life, that man, you've got to have ADHD. It's impossible to be so scattered all over the place without it. But those tendencies also forced me to find systems and to develop routines and workflows that help me not to forget anything, any little piece of idea, everything that comes to my mind. I know it'll be gone in 2 seconds as soon as something else comes in. And then people with ADHD suffer. Let's not say suffer, but they have this tendency of getting very, very interested in something, a subject, something that doesn't even have to do with our occupation, our maybe main hobbies or whatever, but all of a sudden something else comes in and we throw ourselves at it with 300% of our attention, resources, energy, everything, money, talking about buying stuff that we never really get to use, and then it's lying there somewhere, and we feel guilty about that, and that just goes in a spiral, right? Guilty of that. So, yes, Patrick is right. It says a blessing and a curse. A blessing, actually, most of the times, I enjoy it. I enjoy being excited about things. And then I'm just trying to kind of channelize, to kind of direct that sudden crazy interest in a bit more structured way. So I just put all my ideas in this app called Notion that I told you about, and I even showed some of the stuff in my live stream. So it kind of goes right there in this big, now soon enormous database of small ideas, excerpts of songs. I mean, David, you're guilty of me kind of grabbing parts of your live streams. I mean, I listen to you, and at the same time, maybe I would be writing some I don't know, email or something. But most of the times you play so well, so I have to listen really carefully and see. And sometimes I have my guitar in hands, and sometimes I even play slide melodies in standard tuning, just practicing on top of what you're playing. But then a certain kind of harmony, connection, something happens that's, oh, I'd like to learn this. So I kind of annotate that right away. And then when you're finished, I go back to Notion and I just make, I have a note called Inspired by David. And then I just write down several bookmarks of those YouTube live streams you've done, exactly on those places where you played stuff. Which means I'm making it easier for myself to get back later on, so I don't have to listen through the whole live stream again and then try to find it. So it's meticulously written down. Sometimes I even get the idea what to do with it, but I can't do it right now while I'm listening. So I just write it down very fast on a piece of paper, and then I put it in Notion besides this bookmark where I know as soon as I listen to that again, I will listen to it and I know what I need to do. So explore those bases. It's to the left hand, so that's what I need to concentrate on. So speaking about ADHD, and Roy says he's guilty of something like ADHD as well. Just really, oh, great. Trying to work, on ways to work through it. Yeah, coffee only helps so far. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I drink so much coffee that I don't feel those kind of bad effects of caffeine. It's like, I just love it. I love the taste of it. And I kind of drink a couple of cups of coffee in a row, and then I just don't drink it for the rest of the day. And definitely not in the evening, because I kind of forced myself to believe that I wouldn't be able to sleep. But, you go out with friends and you finish the evening meal with a coffee and you still go to sleep in the evening, no problem. Yeah. So we did that. So where are we now? Oh, that's right. So we're aiming to get better at guitar playing. Everything I was talking about here was related to playing a musical instrument, right? But this can really be applied to any interest we have, just to do it more. There was this, there still is, my wonderful friend from California, Rick Story, an amazing banjo player that I used to work with in the 90s when he was living in Sweden. Man, that Deliverance theme, with him and me, I mean, we really had some showstoppers on those country festivals, on Bluegrass Festival. It was great. So Rick is one of those guys who would show up for work every day in the morning, no matter the mood. Compare it to, let's say, going to a gym. Even my own example of today. I went to the gym today while David was having his live stream, and I thought, okay, I'll do a great workout. I wasn't working out during the weekend, so let's just do some nice gym activities and it'll be fine. Man, I was tired. I was not inspired at all. It's just that I showed up, I did it, I did my best, and that was it for today. Same thing with the Rick story. Rick was getting up in the morning, eating a light breakfast, having a cup of coffee, and then he sat down for banjo playing for an hour, hour and a half, and he would always play the same thing all over again. All showstoppers, all great songs that he usually plays, no matter if he was in a mood or not. He went through them, not just like okay, let's just go through these chords. No. He was performing. He was having small kids at home, and he didn't play too loud. Sometimes he played with a handkerchief under the strings, so he could just only hear a very muted banjo sound, but he could play with the same dexterity and with the same punch as if he was playing for real. And that amazed me with him, because even if we had a rehearsal in the afternoon, he would never skip the morning session. Sometimes I'd pick him up on our way to a festival or somewhere, and he would just finishing his practicing, and then we could sit in the car and drive away. So it was like, wow. But that level of professionalism and dedication can be actually, because he was working as a pro. That's everything or anything he did, just playing music, either with me up in Sweden or traveling with his brothers, the Story brothers, in Germany. They worked for Jack Daniels, and they worked lots of these events and shows, and they were playing all over the place. So that was everything he was doing. But let's apply a part of that to this sentence. Well, just play more. And that just play more, I would love to take the middle meaning, which means stop overthinking and just play more. Just play more. Try it. You don't have to play more so that it's all of a sudden very much of it. If you used to play 5, 10, 15 minutes every other second day, why not play 5 minutes every day? Test yourself. if you find it difficult to find times during the day, just look at your schedule and see, can I find a slot during, let's say, evenings or mornings or in the middle of the day, but every day that I could always know that I will dedicate to my instrument. Whatever, I will play on it, but that's going to be my guitar time. Right? And that time for me is around 8 o'clock in the evening. When it comes to Mondays, that's great because I warm up 8 o'clock in the evening, because I would never let myself just go right into the live stream. Although I played a lot during this weekend, I'm a little bit sore on my fingertips because I played several hours a day. First, I was playing on the scene, on the stage, and then I was demonstrating my guitars, and I was picking some other guitars and meeting old friends. Oh, come with me, let's try this guitar, you're gonna love it, right? So I was just playing all day, and but I still wanted to prepare for this as well, so I just played for about 10 minutes and went through especially this slow blues backup, right? So maybe we're coming back to this thing that I already said before, that a dedicated time during every day, kind of time blocking for guitar playing, is a really, really great thing to do. You can at least try it. That would be my advice. So, is there a similarity in the procrastination as a creator in general, and then just apply to playing guitar? Procrastination is a phenomenon of knowing what I need to do. I have planned to do it. I do have a deadline, which is maybe not right now, not tomorrow, but I still have a deadline, and I know I should be doing that, but I'm not doing it. And that's the last part of the theme for today that I'd like to talk about, because it's so significant how difficult it is to do this step, to make this step of, okay, I'll still do it. I'll do it. That's why I want to put in this word, just do it. It can really be applied to anything. It can be applied to work. But usually, if we have a job and somebody else is setting the agenda and telling us, okay, this is what you need to do, and I want it on my table, or I mean, it doesn't have to be a boss like that. It can be a project group. It can be a team of your colleagues. You're working with somebody. I have a wonderful team of colleagues at my nonprofit organization that I work with, and they are amazing. So I don't procrastinate on those things because I know I will let down somebody I care for, and it will affect a bigger picture, a larger project or something. So there's no way I would procrastinate on that. But everything else that's kind of negotiable. And when it comes to guitar playing and all that, yeah, okay, I did prepare for this fair. Prepare for the fair. And that went well because I had around 20 songs that I prepared, and I made a list that was gathering songs according to the rhythm that they were played in. So I had a couple of shuffles, a couple of slow songs, a couple of hillbilly or country, and a couple of kind of boogie, faster songs, and then I also divided songs in open D and open G. So it was like I just had one sheet of paper in front of me, and I just looked there and just picked any of those songs. And I went through those songs during Wednesday, Thursday, and on the morning of the first day of this fair, right? So it was like okay, I prepared, that's nice. But when something is totally free, if I look at my long list of ideas, my question to myself is like, why just do it, Mac? Why am I not doing it still? I do sometimes get very, very interested in things that I hear online, and then I would maybe get into this ADHD kind of crazy attention for maybe for a whole hour and just go deep into that and learn how I do it. And some of those ideas that I have in Notion include several videos that I recorded myself with any ideas that I came up with after this initial idea. So I can go that, but I hardly fulfill something. I usually leave ideas kind of halfway done because either I didn't plan so much time to work on them, or they're not really leading me somewhere. But there's another thing, another aspect, and that is if we do things that we decided on doing, that brings responsibility as well. And if I decide on something, I take the whole burden of that responsibility. And that's when the maybe not imposter syndrome comes in, but it's like it's the task is too big. I'm not going to make it. A lot of these kind of negative thoughts can get in the way, and sometimes like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. So sometimes you go back to the usual stuff that you were doing, and maybe like, okay, let me go through these couple of solos that I usually play. Maybe I can come up with some new versions of my own solos, or to see where I could go with this arrangement or that arrangement, but something that's totally new. I'm guilty of not really going into that. And at the same time, my students who are maybe at another stage of their musical journey that haven't maybe gone so long as I have, they ask me things and I can advise them from my own not doing it perspective. Because let me tell you, this is what I humbly think you should be doing, because if you don't, then you're just going to pile up lots of ideas. You're not going to do anything with them. And the continuation of that sentence, which I don't say, usually is like as I'm doing, right? So, yeah. Just do it. I know it, but duties always get in the way. Have to get Notion. Yeah. We can do a live stream about Notion. Mostly allow myself to take on too much. Yeah. Completely lacking a practice routine. So when I actually do practice, I want to achieve some measurable progress, prone for disappointment. I know. Yeah. And that's also this aspect of when we say, if I have an idea, I want to do it, I start doing it, and then you feel this responsibility, and then oh, I'm the only one responsible. Then it becomes too big, and you just leave it until the next best opportunity or whatever. But it's always like that. That's why it's easier when somebody else tells you what to do, maybe your guitar teacher, because at some level, or let's say from some angle, you have a feeling that, well, we're sharing the responsibility for this lesson because he gave it to me, and if I don't make it, then maybe the lesson is too hard. Maybe he should adapt it. Maybe, right? He or she, sorry, Abby. This is still a stupid man's world. But, I mean, whoever your teacher is, and with the best intentions and everything, it's still very, very difficult to give advice that would both inspire, move you forward, and maybe that's why those really, really fantastic teachers really cost money, because they can really see the whole picture. They can see through your fingers and your guitar and whatever you're doing. Yeah, I don't know. But I've got one little thing left to do for you. And finally, a little bit of music. Let me just see. Yeah, we did that. So let me see. I haven't showed you my my guitar, right? So this is my fantastic baritone guitar. A picture taken by Göran Persson, a wonderful photographer and friend of mine from Helsingborg, and this is when the guitar was brand new. Kill me, but I just can't remember which year this was. I don't know how long I've had this baritone guitar. It could be 10 years or something. And this was this little guitar fair, and this was my booth with my guitar retreat roll-up and the roll-up from the festival I had. And this little thing here, you see this little positive grid amplifier that I showed you here in the live stream. And that was an amazing thing, because I had my iPad here with 3 different QR codes, and one of them led to my live streams, the other one led to test videos from the retreat, so people can see how it looks when I'm teaching. And the third one was to a Notion page where I gathered some pictures from the facilities where we're going to have the retreat. And of course, I'll be promoting my retreat a bit further down the road during the spring and before the summer. So, and my 2 wonderful guitars. And then this was a hall, exhibition hall. Loads of guitars. And you see there's a second floor up there, and there were 2 more rooms around that were housing a lot of guitars. Pickup manufacturers, stuff, new stuff, modern stuff. Here on this line of this part of the room, there were those really expensive vintage guitars. They were totally crazy. Yeah. So that was that. But as I'm still holding this metal body guitar, because I thought I was going to play that song for you that I prepared. No, let me show you the baritone. Just a couple of words about it. This is a jumbo model of sanding guitars. This is the biggest and it's the deepest guitar. But actually, my regular guitar is just as deep as a jumbo because I wanted it that way. I wanted a smaller body, but I wanted it very deep to get those nice mid-rangey, deep middle frequencies with the basses. So I wanted the warm sound all through the frequency palette. This guitar is, of course, in a lot of bass frequencies because it's got a bassy sound and it's got a longer scale. So this is 710 millimeter compared to 650. So it's like 6 centimeters, which is like 2.5 inches maybe, longer scale, longer neck than it usually is on a regular standard guitar, which makes it necessary to make these first 3, maybe even 4 frets wider, larger than on regular guitar, which means guys like me, I don't have long fingers. So for me, it's a real stretch to play this guitar in in the standard tuning and maybe grab the C chord like this. I can grab it, but you know, whatever you want to do with it, it's still tricky. Luckily enough, I just love playing open tunings on this guitar. So that's what makes it so special for me. And I'll just demonstrate a little ditty here. You can see. So now this is, I'm not getting too close to the microphones because I'm afraid of the boomy kind of response, but this is open D tuning, but it's lowered down to, I think it's C or B. Let's see if it's a B. No, it's C. Yeah, it's in C, and the reason why I keep it in the C on the first string and then accordingly all the other notes within a D open is because let's say the D open would be here on the 2nd fret, and then C sharp, and then you have the C. You have a bit more string tension when you play stuff in open D and then having it out to C. If I had it in B or maybe even A sometimes when I play live I could get some string buzzing because you get excited, you maybe pick a bit harder. So I usually would use those lower tunings if I would record something. But I'm preparing this guitar for the upcoming gig on April 1st, and I want it to settle both on the neck and the body and the top of the guitar and everything. I don't want to have to retune it in the middle of a song or between songs. I just wanted to get used to this. That's it, right? So I switched from B to C yesterday when I got back, and then this morning I checked it, and now just prior to the live stream, it's very nice. And I still have my metal body guitar in my fingers, which means I didn't really press flying from the 12th fret to the 5th. See? It's difficult with this one. That was a little bit smoother. Okay. When you're in a lower tuning, especially open lower tunings, it's really ringing all over the place. You need to control those notes really, really hard. Okay, let me try to do it on this guitar. And I did this deliberately. I wasn't really careful with this because I'm in a major, D major open tuning, but down to C. I had this question from Milovan, Belgian, who's sometimes very he gives me some great ideas about live streams, and we've been, keeping in touch for many years about slide playing, guitars, and we became great friends. He lives in Ohio, I live in Sweden, and we have the same origins. We come from the same part of the former Yugoslavia, which makes us even closer. But anyway, he was asking me, like, well, why don't you do something a bit more about playing in minor tunings? Just tune the guitar in D minor and then play something there. And my dilemma has always been, okay, but if I play in the minor and I'm missing the 5th chord in the major form, because then since I have my slide on my pinky, if I had it on maybe this finger, maybe I could fret behind it and get that major chord, right? But now when I'm in major open D tuning, to play the minor chord, all I need to do is I need to place my 2 fingers on the 3rd fret of the 4th and the 3rd string. So I just need to eliminate the major in that chord, which is F sharp, right? So if I just press on the 3rd fret here on the 3rd string and make that F sharp become A, then we get just the 5ths in this chord. And that can really be kind of, I can fool you, like, okay, this is a kind of minor-ish song, right? words come from a song by Blind Willie Johnson from 1927. It's called Motherless Children. And the melody goes on, motherless children have a hard time when the mother is gone. Motherless children have a hard time when the mother is gone. Motherless children have a hard time when the mother is gone. Oh, sorry. And I used to play this live with Sam Mitchell. It was one of his showstoppers. So I just played a backup guitar on this one, and he played it in the open. It's available online not on YouTube, but Spotify, Apple Music. Try to find it maybe. YouTube Music. I can really recommend that service. It's I mean, I'm not gonna cancel my Apple Music, but everything else is connected to that. But I'm using YouTube Music more and more because what they also offer you, apart from all recorded music, audio-wise, they can also give you audio recordings of some videos that are available online. So just get the audio. You can just go around and listen to some great songs. So anyway, motherless children have a hard time. And this little break that Sammy used to do, he loved to do these octaves on the basses. And actually, I don't really mind that major chord kind of jumps in sometimes here. But this is what I will finish it off with. The melody would slide. That's a beautiful part of, that's a beautiful thing about playing slide and combining major and minor chords, and the melody can be so much right in between somewhere. So let's say do 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 do. Let me try to play that melody which I just sang. In my mind, the excitement comes from not giving the whole minor melody, but coming a little bit to the major and not. So this is like a to a hard time where the mother's gone. So that melody could be played on the basses, right? And this was, of course, sound best if you play it with somebody and then just try to incorporate these two things. Like, yeah, so. Sorry. For example, I mean, this sustain has got nothing to do with my room. It's got nothing to do with microphones. It's just this guitar. I mean, this sustain. I can tell you guys a story. I could tell you a lie now, and this will still be ringing in the background. Now it's kind of decaying and going away, right? So it's just an amazing guitar. Lupus in fabula, as they would say in Latin. Milovane, I just spoke about you. Only good stuff, I promise. All right. So I think that was it for today. I'm looking at the chat, and David is welcoming a live stream about Notion, and that's also something that's a dilemma here. Should I do a live stream about Notion, which is a computer app, and my live stream is about guitar playing? Well, you're combining tech stuff with your playing. You kind of start off your live streams with playing the piano, then you kind of dedicate half of the. That's right. I don't have to talk about Notion for an hour. Not even I would like it. But okay, great idea. I will do it. Back to the story about Rick Story, which is a story of my lifetime, because I would have never learned how to back that song, Deliverance, on the guitar the way that really suits a great banjo player. Because, I mean, Eric Weisberg, who composed the whole thing in the movie Deliverance, right? And he's credited for all those fantastic clicks. But I tell you one thing, Rick Story is one of those banjo players who could really put some extra stuff into it without it sounding flashy. It was just maybe even more musical. It was a bit of Rick in the whole thing, and I really loved to play that song with him. It was just fantastic. So they did get the perks from Jack Daniels, definitely, and they were liquid. Thank you. I just love that baritone, and with the Seymour Duncan mag mic that I have in all my guitars, but in the baritone, it's just that sound is bigger than life. It's fantastic. Hello, Milovan, as we said, and thank you so much, JB Simon. Welcome. Come back next year? No, next week. Sorry. Oh, here's my buddy Simon. Hi. Thank you so much. And that was your slide that you made that I played on this baritone briefly. This little beauty. And I'll tell you, it really woke some interest while I was at this guitar fair, because people ask me about slides all the time. But now when I'm on the guitar fair, a lot of people are kind of, oh, I got this one, and they show me the very thin glass slide for playing on an electric. I say, this would never do with my playing style, but what do you play? And then I showed them this, and I go, Jesus, this is heavy. Well, compared to that glass slide, which is very thin and all that, of course it's heavy. It's, Simon, 268 grams, I think we agreed on in the end. And that's because the slide is thicker in the walls on the upper part and a little bit thinner down here. If it was equally thick in the walls here and up here, then it would weigh more than 300 grams, and that would be too much. So, and the reason why I wanted this brass slide made this way and this heavy was because you have to have something to drive the baritone strings with. Because the first string on that guitar is 19, 019, and then you have 22 on the second string, and then I have 30 on the third string, and I would usually play 32, but since I sometimes tune this guitar to open G, form of open G tuning, but then it goes to E, down to E, still the third string, the 32, which is a D string from the beginning by construction, that cannot go to G. It's just impossible. That cannot go to E, one whole step higher. No way. So I'm using 30 there. But then I have 49 on the fourth string, 59 on the fifth string, and 70 on the big bass. And that's how I get that. And I don't keep the high action on that guitar. It's quite low, very, easy to play and to fret the notes. They're great. Yep. That's it. So guys, thank you so much for coming today. It was a lot of discussion. Thank you for commenting, and thank you for liking the video. I've seen, I guess everybody liked it. And I loved it. I love doing this. And I'll continue doing it from the next Monday. Then the third guitar, another sounding guitar, is going to be shown to you guys, and I will demonstrate it, of course, just like I did on the baritone. Let me know either in the comments of the video or just send me a DM on Twitter. I'm not sure how many of you are using Twitter, but it's such a convenient way to reach me, or otherwise Facebook, of course. Any suggestions you might have for content and maybe even songs that you'd like me to cover, slide songs or just average blues songs, whatever. It's going to be fun. But thank you so much for coming. I will see you all next week.
It was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, lost, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. It called me up, down and out my soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. In spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top